Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Shawyn Domyancich-Lee. I use they, them pronouns, and I am an associate professor in the social work department here at the University of Wisconsin River Falls. What does green space mean to me? I think in one word, it means life. Not only life of the flora and fauna in green space, not only the life cycles of those flora and fauna and everything else in that green space, but my own life. I think that green space has often meant a place of recharge, balance, serenity, meditation. It's a very meditative space for me to be in. And it does a lot of positive things for my life. It improves my mental health, it improves my physical health, and it just sort of calms the system, especially when things in life seem particularly chaotic. Barriers, I think, to green space for me would be being non-white and non-binary and somebody who's read as male. I think it can open up doors, and we've seen this play out in the news, social media, whatever. I think it can open up doors for people to make assumptions about me because of the color of my skin and because of my body, whether or not I belong in that green space, whether I'm or not I am somebody to be feared, or that I'm going to pose some sort of a threat, somebody that could handle more aggression based off of those assumptions. I also think about, access to facilities like, restrooms. And I know a lot of times in some green spaces, it might just be, a vault toilet or porta potty or whatever. But there are lots of green spaces that have multi-stall gendered restrooms. And so thinking about, being outside all day, hopefully staying hydrated and fed, we need to take biological breaks. And so thinking about where am I going to do that safely. So I think overall, my safety and security and my comfort in green space sometimes is compromised by the prejudice, racism, homophobia, transphobia, all of these things that have made it hard for folks of color, queer folks, trans folks, to just navigate life in general, but certainly being out someplace that maybe hasn't always been a space that's, been inclusive. Those are things that I have to pay attention to. So it's a little bit more of checking over my shoulder and kind of keeping an extra eye and ear out. I have been blessed with the privilege of eyesight and hearing. And so, being able to see my surroundings, being able to hear what's around me will all help. But sometimes I think that the extra hypervigilance to that is wearing. And so going into green space, which is supposed to be a relaxing space for me, but also just sort of that extra bit of, but I have to be aware, and that there is a level of, this isn't a place that's for somebody like me, and that this might not be a place that's safe is, kind of pollutes that a little bit. In my career as a social work educator, I'm really trying to help students make the sort of the human environment connection. In social work, we always talk about sort of the person in the environment perspective, but a lot of times the environment has meant the social environment. So family, friends, schools, healthcare, churches, teams, if you play sports, like all of these different things, but we haven't really talked about the physical environment, like the physical natural world that we are all in, and what that has meant for the clients and communities that we will be working with. And so environmental issues, pollution, lack of access to clean water, like all of these things affect all of us, but certainly they affect communities of color, poor communities, people with disabilities, LGBTQ plus communities, the elderly and aging populations. They affect these folks more, and these are also populations that, historically and institutionally have more barriers and lack of access to services and resources that can help alleviate these things. So I really help to try to educate our students on, how does the physical natural world, and especially what we're dealing with now with climate change, affect these populations, because these are going to be their clients. I developed the first environmental justice class for our department last fall. I'll teach it again this spring, and we want to make it a permanent part of our social work classes for students coming into the major. And then last spring, I also had the privilege of team teaching a class on freshwater access and sustainability with a number of instructors from across the university, and we had students from all different disciplines taking the class. So, you know, STEM students to non-STEM students, but really talking broadly, widely about freshwater access and sustainability, not just within Wisconsin, but certainly nationally and even globally. So I hope to be able to continue doing those things. And then lastly, here at the university, I am the Sustainability Faculty Fellow Coordinator, which means that I really help the university from sort of the teaching and education side of things to ensure that faculty from, again, across disciplines are working to infuse sustainability into their curriculum. So how can, you know, English professors infuse any aspect of sustainability into their curriculum? How can the music department do so? How can biology continue to do so? How can social work do so? So I work with faculty in order to help them do that. So that's me. I thank you for listening, and I hope you have good discussions today, and thank you for attending the event.